Hello, friends. On this episode, I find spiritual significance in an unlikely source or aspect of our human experience. But what else is new, right? It's what I do here. I'm Joanna, and you are watching the Leather and Lace podcast. And welcome back. As I was saying, I am going to discuss the spiritual insights that I found and I came across while watching a very campy and very popular animated film called K-Pop Demon Hunters. Okay, look, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she had been begging me to watch this movie with her, even though she's already seen it multiple times. And everything about it seemed like it was going to be awful for me. I'm not particularly into K-pop or demon hunting, so I had very, very low expectations, and I thought that I would just be, gritting my teeth through the whole experience. But oh my, was I pleasantly surprised by what I watched. Now, it still had a lot of the music that I'm not necessarily drawn to, and it was definitely not made for my demographic of audience, right? It's made for my daughter, and she loved it. But man, the story behind it, the themes behind it was just so resonating with me. Now, for those of you who have not seen this or have no interest in seeing it, I do recommend it if you can just allow for it to be what it is and to be able to just be open to the messages that can come through for you through the story and the plot line, however ridiculous it might sound to you, about a K-pop group of 3 young ladies who are also demon hunters. I know it doesn't sound like there would be anything in there to glean as far as spiritual insights, but like me, I believe you will be surprised by what you might learn. Okay, so I might give some stuff away, but I'm going to try not to. So no real spoilers here. I just really want to explore this one character named Rumi. She's one of the 3 ladies who are in a K-pop group called Huntrix, and they're very, very popular. They're like huge, okay? And what the people don't know, or what their fans don't know, is that they're also demon hunters. And they're very important. They serve a very important role, I guess, in the into the management of keeping demons at bay and not interacting with humans. But anyways, that's not really that important. I mean, I think in a deeper spiritual analysis, there's so much that can be discussed here, but I'm really going to just focus on this one character, Rumi, because what makes her very interesting is that she is actually half demon. Now, the other 2 girls in the group don't know that. Rumi is very much anti-demon, I guess, and so she ideologically is aligned with her 2 pop group mates. So Rumi is trying to get rid of her demon background, and basically if their group succeeds in establishing this type of protective layer or barrier that will protect Earth from the demons, then she will no longer be half demon or something like that. Again, not totally important right now for what I'm going to go through, but suffice it to say, she is a half demon, and she has been concealing it. She has been hiding it, obviously, because she's afraid that if her 2 friends that she's in this K-pop group with, would find out, that they would not obviously want to be her friend, and worse, might try to kill her, because that's what they do. They hunt these demons. And so, yeah, she's kind of in this predicament of not accepting herself, just being in this fearful shame space. And she has this song that she sings where Okay, so maybe there is a little bit of a spoiler. But she ends up obviously having to confront who she is and having to be exposed. And so her friends end up finding out who she is and what she is. And it's obviously a very catalytic part of the movie. But it happens, and she sings a song, a very poignant song that I'm just going to go over with you in the lyrics so we can glean the spiritual insights from that. So I hope I didn't give too much of the movie away. I think you guys should still watch it. Again, just be prepared. It is campy, it is silly, but you know, we should not underestimate any aspect of our human experience and its ability to teach us something. So, without further ado, I'm going to go over the lyrics of this song. The song is called This Is What It Sounds Like. So, here we go. First part of the song says, "Nothing but the truth now, nothing but the proof of what I am, the worst of what I came from, patterns I'm ashamed of, things that even I don't understand." So, for those of us who are spiritual seekers or just human beings that take a little time for introspection and self-reflection, how many of us get to this place where we are just confronted with the truth of who we are and the evidence is so clear in our face of like, oh my gosh, I am this is what I have done, you know, this is the worst of me, and I'm so ashamed of it. I don't understand why I'm like this. Do you relate to that? I certainly relate to that. It's a part of life, okay? We can't get stuck in that shame spiral. We just have to learn to accept it, to give ourselves grace, and to know that this is just a part of our journey, right? But I think you guys can understand with the sentiment of this verse of just being confronted with the truth of who and what we are. Let's move on to the next verse. "I tried to fix it. I tried to fight it. My head was twisted, my heart divided, my lies all collided. I don't know why I didn't trust you to be on my side." So here we have like the next step of after we are confronted with the truth of who we are, we, try to fix it, or we try to hide it, or we try to pretend it's not true. We try to do all these things because it divides us. Our heart is divided. It's like we are in some ways wanting to embrace that part of us because it is us, but we're also quite ashamed, and you try to lie and try to hide it because ultimately we don't trust that the people in our lives are going to love us in spite of that. We believe that to be accepted and loved, this part of us can't be true. We can't let them see it, right? That's kind of like the natural step of, oh wow, I'm a bad person because I did this, and oh gosh, I don't want anybody to know. And because of our hiding and our shame, our head gets twisted, and we just start lying, and all our lies get all twisted up, all because we don't trust that the people whom we love are going to stay by our side if they knew. So let's move on to the next verse. This is a beautiful part of this song. It's so funny because before I even watched the movie, my daughter would be singing this in the car, and I would catch the lyrics a little bit, and I was like, well, that's kind of profound. And now, having watched the movie, it is definitely profound. It goes like this: "I broke into a million pieces and I can't go back. But now I'm seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. The scars are part of me, darkness and harmony. My voice without the lies. This is what it sounds like." What a declaration, right? Because we just went through the first couple verses, the experience of like being confronted with the truth of who we are, and then being ashamed of it, twisting our minds and our hearts, trying to hide it because we don't trust that the people we love are going to be there for us if they knew. And now this moment of truth, this moment of like acceptance, where you acknowledge that I cannot unsee this truth about myself, and now I feel so broken, but I can't go back. I can't go back to what was when I was in denial or ignorant of this truth about myself. And one step further, seeing the beauty in that broken glass. You know, the scars are a part of me. Darkness and harmony. You're not just this perfect thing. Okay, there's beauty in the scars. There's beauty in the brokenness. Right? We did not come here to just be perfect. We came here to experience and to break and to have scars so that we can see the beauty of that. And then that last line, my voice without the lies. This is what it sounds like. Take it or leave it, right? This is my voice. This is who I am, and this is what it sounds like. It's very powerful. All right. Next verse. Why did I cover up the colors stuck inside my head? I should have let the jagged edges meet the light instead. Show me what's underneath. I'll find your harmony. The song we couldn't write. This is what it sounds like. I know, it's so silly. Still, I think about the setup, the campy, silly movie that brought about these lyrics. It still makes me laugh a little bit, but hey, this is a beautiful verse, okay? It has a lot to say. So we look at the first question here. Why did I cover up the colors stuck inside my head? How many of us have ideas, have thoughts, have feelings that are colorful, right? They go outside the lines of what people expect from us. And because of that, because of our color, we keep it inside our head. We don't express it because we feel like, oh, well, this is the box I'm supposed to fit in. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to disturb people or whatever. And so we keep it inside our head. The next line says, I should just let those jagged edges meet the light instead. Light meaning being exposed. Allow your jagged edges to be seen, even if it goes outside of people's expectations of you, right? So this is talking about that. I don't want to keep my colors stuck here. I want to let the light see them. And now the third line here says, show me what's underneath. So having had that introspection of like, man, I should not leave these colors stuck in my head. I should let these jagged edges see the light instead. Now they go to, having learned that, they go to someone and says, show me what's underneath. Now they are present for someone else and encouraging someone else to reveal their colors and promising that they will be there and that they will find harmony with those edges. And then in finding that harmony, they can write a song together. They can actually be honest together. This is the song that we couldn't write, and this is what it sounds like. Now, I take this into our experience, especially with all this. There's a lot of disparity in how we think and view each other, and therefore we don't have harmony. We can't write songs together, right? What it sounds like right now is, you know, it's kind of like when the harmony is off, right? When it doesn't sound great. But if we could just accept, right, that we're not going to be the same and that we have different things, and in allowing someone else to express themselves, we are actually granting that ability for ourselves. But when you are someone that is just only allowing yourself to be expressive and putting others down because they don't believe what you believe or they don't think the way you think, that they're wrong, well, that's not great either, right? Because you have to allow the same kind of freedom and expression for others that you yourself grant yourself. So I guess what I'm trying to say here, not in the most clearest way, I'm sorry, is that when you accept yourself and give yourself permission to let your jagged edges meet the light, what you're doing is actually inviting and encouraging others to do the same. I feel that we need to find harmony as a people together, regardless of our different perspectives. And having done that, having accepted yourself and encouraging other people to do it, to show you what's underneath and finding harmony, you can finally write a song together. The song we couldn't write, this is what it sounds like. And for me, man, do I want to hear that song. I want to hear that song that we are going to write as a people when we can finally get this shit right. We can finally just accept ourselves and accept each other. That would be amazing. But until then, we're just going to have to keep trying and learning. So, anyways, moving right along. Here we go. Next set of lines. We're shattering the silence. We're rising, defiant, shouting in the quiet, you're not alone. We listened to the demons. We let them get between us, but none of us are out here on our own. So now it's a we thing, right? It was an individual kind of experience of like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't like this part of myself, but hey, this is who I am. What about you? What do you have? Tell me, let me see what's underneath, and we'll find harmony with it. And now it's a we. No one is giving up their identity here. This is just a matter of radical acceptance of being. And when the whole thing of like, you're not alone, what does that even mean? Like, yes, there are other people in the world, but the you're not alone piece is like, I accept you. And in saying that, you're also admitting that you have had a hard time being accepted. We're all vulnerable. We all have the same fears about not feeling like we belong and feeling a little lost, like what the F is going on. Okay, so in saying you're not alone to somebody, you're also admitting that you want company and that you are also feeling vulnerably alone. So there's power in that, and you shout it in the quiet. You have to shout that in the quiet because what the quiet means is that no one is saying this. But now we're moving towards a time when we can be vulnerable and express this. And in that vulnerability, you can rise and be defiant. And we can be defiant by being unified. When everything in the world is telling us to hate and to separate, the biggest act of rebellion is to rise and be defiant and to unify with each other. Okay? The last two lines in this verse, it says, we listened to the demons. We let them get between us, but none of us are out here on our own. Now, what are the demons? Well, in the movie, it's literally demons, but what is it in our experience as human beings? Demons are everything that stand between us, between each other, between our unity, between our real, true nature of love and human beings, or spirits disguised as human beings. Okay, everything that is separating us from that are demons. In this day and age, it would be divisive narratives trying to get us to hate each other. It would be ideologies that put a certain group of people above others, etc. We cannot let these things get between us. It's very difficult when we are emotionally attached to these narratives and to these labels. I get it, okay, but we have to find a way to not let these types of things get in between us, between each other. They are demons, okay? We have to really find that narrow path towards truth, which is love and unity. Everything else is just not really real. It's not really consequential. So, and we are not out here on our own. If I've learned anything from doing my Dimash reactions, is that people in the world are so beautiful. There's so many loving hearts out there, and I have so much faith in us, that there's enough of us that are going to turn this ship around, and we are headed towards better, more harmonious days, years. And we might have to experience a little bit of chaos in this process, but as long as you keep on keeping on, okay, not allowing for these divisive narratives to take hold, then I think you're doing great, and thank you for your service. Okay, moving on. Okay, next set of lines. So we were cowards, so we were liars, so we're not heroes. We're still survivors. The dreamers, the fighters, no lying. I'm tired, but dive in the fire and I'll be right here by your side. So after coming together, right, becoming a we acknowledge our path, the path that we have taken. Yes, okay, so we were cowards, we were liars, we were all these horrible things, and no, we are not heroes. Now in the movie, these girls were heroic, right? I mean, people didn't know that they were demon hunters, but they had this pressure to have a very pristine kind of appearance, right? Not just beauty, but in perfection. They couldn't let their mistakes show. They were just perfect. And obviously that was a facade because they were all had a lot of internal struggles. But again, taking that into our experience, there's so much pressure on us to be a certain way, to be perfect, right? To be the perfect parent, to be the perfect woman, to be the perfect man, provider, whatever, athlete, singer, artist, whatever. There's so much pressure put on us all the time. There's so many things about us that can cause us to feel ashamed. Okay, but we are dreamers, we are fighters, and we are, I hope, are dedicated to being truthful and authentic, no lying. We're all freaking tired of the fakery. I am so tired of the fakery. I just want to be real. I want everybody to be real, like whatever. But yeah, we have to dive into the fire and to commit to each other that we will be there right by each other's side. You know, there's deep messages here about being able to come together as a people and to also just find some significance in your own personal journey through these lessons. Okay. So, and then it kind of repeats again this beautiful paragraph, verse. And now it's a we thing. In the beginning, it was, I broke into a million pieces. You see, there's an individual, a micro expression of an evolution that is occurring, that has to occur. It's just the way life and creation works. Evolution, evolvement, changing, destruction, rebirth. So this is more of a collective or a group. We broke into a million pieces and we can't go back. But now we're seeing all the beauty in the broken glass. The scars are part of me. Darkness and harmony. My voice without the lies. This is what it sounds like. And then they also repeat this piece with a little bit of a change. So let's read it now. Why did we cover up the colors stuck inside our head? Get up and let the jagged edges meet the light instead. Show me what's underneath. I'll find your harmony. Fearless and undefined. This is what it sounds like. This is what it sounds like. Fearless and undefined. I love it. There's no room for fear when there are no definitions. The things that make us scared are because we feel like we're not living up to something, or that we are not fitting into some sort of a mold that has been crafted for us by who knows what, right? Marketing, messaging, religion, I don't know. There's so much pressure on us to be a certain way, to align with certain ideas that may not feel resonant and truthful to us. And therefore, we are afraid. We get scared to be to express their colors in our head and to let our jagged edges meet the light. But when there are no definitions and no expectations, fear can just vanish. We can be fearless and undefined. And this is what it sounds like. Don't you want to know what that sounds like? What would you sound like if you were fearless and undefined and you could express yourself as authentically as possible? I am on that journey too, friend. Okay, I want to know what that sounds like from me as well. I want to be fearless, but I'm not quite there yet. So just so you know, I'm not talking at you, I am talking with you. But yeah. And the rest of the song kind of repeats the same words, so we're not going to go over it anymore. But yeah. So, I mean, I hope you understood some of the points I was making and the insights I was sharing with you through this song, through the lyrics, because it's surprisingly profound, especially coming from this silly little movie that I was so determined not to watch. But out of love for my beautiful daughter, I did. And I feel blessed that I did that. And I hope you open up to watching it too if you have time. Not everybody has all the time in the world, but I do recommend it. And just allow it to tell you what it needs to tell you, like I did. Actually, I didn't even know it would say anything to me, but it inspired me to be more open to everything, even though I'm consciously aware of being open to spiritual insights in the most mundane and fantastic aspects of our human experience. I still forget that it can happen through a silly cartoon, but it can. So anyways, thank you for joining me on this episode. I guess I'll see you next time, friends. Until then, stay grounded as you embrace the sacred. Bye for now.